What if I told you that the safest thing you could do with your money actually puts you at real risk? It sounds like a riddle, right? But here's the truth. If you take $100 and hide it under your mattress for 10 years, you haven't avoided risk. You've actually guaranteed a loss. Well, that $100 bill stays the same, meaning its nominal value is unchanged. The world around it gets more expensive. Your cash loses its purchasing power. That, my friends, is a very real risk. Welcome to De-Risk Investing Concepts. I'm your host, Sarah. Today, we are breaking down the two pillars of every financial decision you will ever make: risk and return. Whether you're picking a basic savings account or buying a slice of a tech giant, you're dancing with these two. They are the backbone of all financial planning. They help you decide where your hard-earned money lives. Simply put, risk and return work in tandem. The potential for higher profits usually comes with the possibility of greater losses. Safer moves? They offer modest rewards. Today, we're going to learn how to lead this dance without stepping on your own toes. Before we get to our analogy, let's define our terms. Risk is uncertainty. It's the variability in what you expect to happen versus what actually happens. You buy a stock, you expect the price to go up. It goes down instead. That's risk. Return is the prize. It's the gain or loss on your investment over time, usually shown as a percentage. It's the reward you receive for putting your money at risk instead of keeping it tucked away. If that stock price goes up, you've earned your return. But here's the kicker. Both risk and reward don't just vary in size. They can come from different places entirely. To really see how this works, let's step out of the office and onto a mountain trail. Imagine you're a professional hiker. Your goal? To see the most beautiful views possible. In this world, the view is your return. The terrain, the rocks, the steepness, and the likelihood of a fall is your risk. First, there's the paved path at the base of the mountain. It's flat. It's easy. You could walk it in flip-flops. This is your savings account or a government bond. The risk of falling is practically zero, but because you're at the bottom of the mountain, your view is just okay. You see some trees, maybe a squirrel. It's pleasant, but it won't take your breath away. Now, look at the forest trail. It's steeper. There are roots and loose gravel. This is like corporate bonds. You're climbing higher, so the view is getting better, but you have to pay attention. You might trip. This is credit risk. The chance that the trail or the company you lent money to might fail you. Finally, there's the summit scramble. This is the stock market. It's rocky, the wind is howling. 1 minute you're soaring, the next you're sliding down a ski slope. This is volatility. It's bumpy, but if you reach the top, the view is spectacular. You can see from miles. That is your high potential return. As you climb, you face different dangers. Market risk is like a sudden thunderstorm hitting the entire mountain. Everyone, from the paved path to the summit, gets wet. Liquidity risk is like getting your foot stuck in a crevice. You want to move, but you can't get out quickly without hurting yourself. Inflation risk, the one I mentioned earlier, is the most subtle. It's like the mountain slowly sinking into the ocean while you stand still. You feel safe, but the ground is disappearing beneath you. But it's not all hard work. Along the way, you get rewards. Interest and dividends are like energy bars and water bottles handed to you just for being on the trail. Capital gains happen when you climb from the trailhead to a higher ridge. Your position is simply worth more than when you started. Now, you might think this risk math was invented by guys in suits on Wall Street in the 1980s, but it actually goes back much further, to a smoky coffee house in London in the late 1600s. Back then, if you wanted a big return, you didn't buy stocks. You funded a wooden ship headed for the east to bring back silk and spices. This was the ultimate summit scramble. If the ship came back, you were wealthy beyond your dreams. If it sank in a storm or was taken by pirates, you lost every penny. The merchants realized they needed a way to measure this. They started looking at risk not as bad luck, but as a probability. They looked at the age of the ship, the experience of the captain, and the season of the voyage. They even mapped out the routes with the most pirate activity. They were the first to realize that you could spread the risk. If 10 people funded 10 different ships, the return from the 9 that came back would far outweigh the loss of the one that sank. They turned fate into finance. Before we wrap up, I need to bust one dangerous myth. Some people hear high risk equals high return, and they think that any big risk is a good idea. Let's be clear. High risk does not guarantee a high return. If it did, it wouldn't be risky. Thinking that all risk is good is like deciding that instead of climbing the mountain, you're just going to jump off a 50-story building while holding a lottery ticket. That is an incredibly high-risk move, but your return isn't going to be a luxury penthouse. It's just going to be a very messy encounter with the sidewalk. We call that uncompensated risk. You're taking a big chance for no good reason. Our goal is to find smart risk. That's the kind where you're buckled into a harness, using the right gear, and climbing a mountain that actually has a view at the top. We've covered the mountain hike today, but if you want to see what the summit scramble looks like in real time, you've got to check out our other episodes. In our stock deep dive, we look at individual stocks to help you understand not just the view, but the climb. And if you're worried about the weather hitting the whole market, listen to our weekly global markets brief. We break down the changing global terrain for every investor. In summary, don't be afraid of the mountain. Just make sure you have the right map and the right gear. That's all for today's episode. This is D-Risk. Until next time, happy investing.